Hey everyone, James Younger here. I wanted to check in, say hi, and give you a little update and overview of this release we have, version 3.5 coming out. So what you're going to see in 3.5, we did make a change to the way the rate selector works, and I wanted to give you a little overview of what it is, why we made the change, and what you'll see going forward and that sort of thing. So just to give you a bit of background, when I first built TempStars and launched the first, 50 versions of it, where I think, even though it says 3.5, I think this is going to be release 87 or something like that, because we keep listening and making adjustments and updates, and it's just an ongoing perpetual project of excitement for everyone. But at the original launch, and what you've seen so far, is this idea of open market. And I really do and fundamentally believe in the idea of open market principles, where any hygienist or assistant can just offer whatever rate they want, and then it's up to the dental office to decide, okay, well, is this rate acceptable for my needs for this shift? And then if they don't accept the offer, and so there's a feedback loop to say, and to give that sort of feedback to hygienists and assistants to say, oh, that rate was too high, and then in theory to kind of balance things out so that all of our hygienist and assistant members are sending in offers and getting shifts and rates accepted within an acceptable and reasonable range. So that sounds fantastic in principle, and to be honest, for the most part, that's how it works. But as we're growing, what we're seeing is there is a small but growing and becoming significant sub-segment of our membership that is sort of using the rate selector and their offers in a different way. As we're growing, it's becoming obvious that we needed to address this situation where, and we just know firsthand, from firsthand hearing and speaking with some of our members, the idea that, well, I'm going to send in an offer that's really, really high. I don't necessarily want to work, but I would work for this really high rate. Or there's instances where, oh, this looks like a last minute thing. I'm going to put in a really, really high rate because I know the office will be a bit desperate and they'll accept this rate. And so I'm not putting words in anyone's mouth. I just sort of know this from firsthand conversations. So in principle, yeah, that's the open market concept, and I don't fundamentally have an issue with that because I do want everyone to make the rates that they deserve, and what the going market is and what the demand is for specific shifts. And if it's a Saturday shift, that's in high demand and things like that. But what's ending up happening is when these things happen, we just get a lot of upset feedback from offices and managers saying, what? And so it's affecting our reputation. We're having very good offices. I mean, these good, professional, reasonable offices that you would like to work at, that are treat people well and pay good rates and don't cancel their shifts and things like that. And they're providing us just objective feedback to say, we love TempStars, but we haven't used it for a while because we're finding these rates are just way above what we can afford for a temping shift, and so we've stopped using TempStars. And I just genuinely hate to see people falling off of our service that add value to our service and our platform, that are saying, look, it's just getting out of line. And I still fundamentally believe in free market principles, but we've had to add some guardrails and things like that just to prevent these situations where these excessively high rates are being submitted, and typically they're not being accepted by offices, but we're just getting angry emails about them, and offices are getting frustrated. And especially during these kind of crazy COVID times where the job market is in this constant flux, and there are dentists and office managers that just feel that maybe they're being taken advantage of unfairly. And again, it is by far the minority of our members. It's definitely not the majority of our members, but it's happening enough that we've had to implement some things which just genuinely won't affect the majority of our members who are submitting offers at reasonable market rates. We've completed tens of thousands of temping shifts across Canada, so we know for every geographic area in Canada what are the average and accepted rates for these areas. So what you'll see here, and I'll just walk you through it, is when you see the rate selector, first of all, it's going to be color coded to give you a guide, just a kind of a visual guide of, for your area, what are sort of some reasonable generally accepted rates in that area. As you start going a bit higher, you'll see some yellow here to say you're getting a little bit high, but these are still not deal breaker type of rates. And then you've got this red range where you can still pick the red range, but you need to be aware that you're getting into a range that is far above what is generally accepted in that area and might be considered unreasonable. Now, everybody's individual situation is different, which I do understand, which is why we preserve that rate selector system. And you'll also see here we've got the recommended rate, which is sort of the rate that is most likely to be accepted for that posting shift. And the recommended rate will be different for each shift, likely, but it gives you an idea for that office, for that shift, this is the rate that's most likely to be accepted by that. And then you'll notice we did sort of top and bottom it out slightly the top range is slightly lower than it has been. And again, it's just to preserve the integrity of our system, because for the community and our membership overall, what ends up happening is these high rates damage it, because if we have less offices using it, and I mean, like I said, good offices, not kind of the cheap offices who are just trying to get $25 hygienists or $18 dental assistants, things like that, but just genuinely good offices that offer good rates and good experience. When they stop using our service, that affects every other hygienist who does use our service, because now we have less of a pool of good offices to book shifts for and things like that. So the underlying thing and how we make our decisions is what is good for our entire community of members, of dental professionals, and how do we best manage to make the best experiences for the people who are using our service. So I just wanted you to know that's how and why we made the changes. That being said, TempStars is a constant work in progress. Every single day we're working, we're listening, we're getting our feedback, we're checking emails and checking social media for comments. And so even for this 3.5 release, we spent about 6 weeks just listening to feedback. We're going to meet as a team about 6 weeks after the release is out, so that we can kind of, if we need to tweak things, if we need to reconfigure things, then we can kind of make adjustments as we go there. But we kind of feel like 6 weeks of this out in the wild like this is a good way to see how it goes and, of course, make any adjustments along the way. So I hope you understand. I'm a dentist, but I just want you to know we don't favor dental offices, and we don't cater to dental offices. And quite the opposite, sometimes dental offices feel as though we are sort of ignoring them a little bit and spending more time favoring the hygienist and assistant. So there can be that perception on both sides, none of which is true. We have such a broad perspective and a care for all dental professionals. And even just to kind of quickly review some of the things that we've done for our hygienist and assistant members, even for the last updates in 2020, we've got our short notice cancellation policy that if a dental office cancels with less than 24 hours notice, they're obligated to pay half of the shift if you're unable to pick up a replacement shift. We've got our COVID PPE and protocol guarantee in place that if you book a shift and you show up and the office is not following proper COVID protocols and you have to leave as a result and miss out on the shift for safety reasons, then the office is obligated to pay for that day. And we don't charge any hiring fees for dental offices to hire anyone from our system. So if you're a hygienist or assistant and you want to get hired by an office and they like you, they don't even have to worry about paying us some exorbitant $800 hiring fee. They can just hire you because we want to make that good connection. And we purposefully, I'm not sure if you know this, our placement fee is just $38, and that's it. And so we're the lowest placement fee in the industry. That's on purpose so that a dental office can afford to pay slightly higher rates because it's offset by our low placement fee. They don't have to say, oh, we're also paying an agency $80 for this, so that makes it expensive at this hourly rate. At $38, it does give that little bit of extra wiggle room for offices to consider slightly higher rates and things like that. And again, not to take advantage of crazy high rates, but that's one of the reasons we keep our rates so low, is to kind of give you that extra, and the office that extra wiggle room for those hourly rates. So I want you to know, it's an ongoing thing. We're 100% fully dedicated to supporting and optimizing our service and our system for our hygienists and assistant members. And at the same time, we certainly serve dental offices as well, and we care about everybody as fellow dental professionals. So these changes we make are just in the interest and intent for making things better for our entire membership and the community and dental professionals as a whole. So I hope you understand, and please, I hope everyone's staying safe and healthy, and take care.